Ma'am, now, when we talk about the profile building, right? You are the best person to ask, rather, answer this question.
Hmm.
Most of the time, मैंने देखा है that the students are working on the profile deliberately, doing something from NGO thing, or, doing these and that certificates. And,
Yeah.
making it like, bunch of certifications and 2 महीने में profile बन गया, something like that. So
Huh.
when they attend the interviews, right, and when you as a panelist, when you go through it, are you guys able to catch hold कि यार ये तो आपने desperation में profile बनाया है, मतलब ये genuine?
So normally, we do ask, all these certifications that you've got, when did you do all these certifications? So we do ask. So if too many certifications have been done in the last 5 to 6 months only,
Right.
we know one thing, that yes, the person is trying to make an effort. So plus points for that at least koshish kar raha hai banda. Okay. But is that koshish genuine? Okay. Is it authentic? Is it authentic? So even if you're doing 4 courses, probably yes, you have the bandwidth to do it. So you have done it. So I'm going to ask you, all right, if you have done some course on analytics, you can be sure that you will be asked some application question on that. Or you may be asked some very basic question on that, which is to say, okay, tell me how would you find out if you are given a budget of this, where will you spend it? If an entrepreneur wants to set up a new new website, and you want to find out how well it is doing, etc., what are the tools that you will use? And if you then blink at the person who's asking you the question, then you know how authentic that profile is.
Right.
So don't put anything in that profile where you know it's not authentic and it's going to be a trap. So it's not about just putting labels. It's about you put 2, 3 good ones, whichever you have done, and you're damn sure about what is being asked, and that I think should be sufficient. Okay.
Right.
Also, please understand one thing: as as a business school, we know your students. We are not admitting CEOs.
Exactly. ये point is important actually. Yes, ma'am.
We are not admitting CEOs. We are wanting people who have the mindset to be CEOs. So do you have that mindset, and do you have the readiness to put in the hard work for it? Okay, both. So that is what we are judging. So profile is a kind of a reflection of that. So when we look at academics, what we are saying, okay, the student seems to be pretty decent in academics. That means he or she has a good grasping power. Let me now quickly check whether this grasping power, how true was this grasping power? Was it short-term memory, or was it something that they really understood whatever they studied? Okay. Like I remember when I wanted to do my management, I'm a BSc physics, and I had worked with CIPLA for 1 year. Okay. And so physics and CIPLA as chemistry had nothing in common.
Right.
And the work that I was doing there was, I was editing their in-house journal. Okay.
Oh.
So something completely different. Okay.
Right.
So that journal is related to various scientific things that the company is into, and it's also about an in-house journal. So it's also about people, etc. So my whole purpose for taking up that job was I wanted to save some money to pay my fees for my management education. Okay. So when somebody asked me in the interview, why did you, after BSc physics, you worked with CIPLA, why you did not work in the R&D? I said, they would not give me a job in the R&D because I'm a physics graduate. Right. They need chemistry graduates. Okay, but I said, but I got this job on my own from a newspaper ad. I had to, at that point in time, there was a huge change in policy happening in the pharma sector, which was related to GATT implications. So they asked me to write a huge article on that, and there was no Google or internet that I could go to. So I had to rummage through through articles which were already published, go to some libraries, talk to some knowledgeable people, and actually handwrite that whole article. They insisted that I should handwrite the article and bring it. I should not even type it. So whatever it was, when I took that to them, they knew that this person has the attitude to gather information, to put it together, and she can articulate things. Okay, that was what was required. So similarly, and when I went for my when I went for my interview to a couple of MBA schools, some of them asked me a lot of information about the products that I had written about in the in-house journal. So I could explain to them in detail. So it was not like, मैंने कोई यहाँ से उठाया और वहाँ paste कर दिया, किसी ने कुछ कहा तो मैंने as it is type कर दिया. So the authenticity of your work is going to matter. Exactly. Why did you do what you did? As in, why did you take up that job? Right. And what did you learn from that place? Right. So I learned a couple of technology bits, at that point in time, everybody wanted to use Corel and PageMaker and a whole lot of things, which I learned. So a point is, you have to figure out that whatever you have put on your profile, it should be authentic. Exactly. Don't just try to stick something out there to grab attention, because the problem is it will grab attention. And then if you have not done it, then you have dug your own pit.
Yes.
And you come back hurt from the interview because the person has really grabbed your neck with all the questions. True. You're not able to respond.
So guys, please go ahead.
So work experience, that is important. They also, people also ask about things that you studied in your graduation. Be honest about it. There will be some things which you may not immediately recollect if it is very fact based. Somebody asks you, tell me what is this particular law that you learned, or this particular rule in commerce that you have. And if you suddenly don't recollect it, it's okay. But if it's an application question on whatever you have studied and you can't even use the principles, then it's not a good sign, because what it says is you spent 3 years, 4 years doing something which you have just forgotten in a matter of couple of months. Right. So there is no what you call genuineness in an effort to learn something and put it to use, even if you don't have work experience in that area. So this you should be careful about. Then there are questions related to, what do you do other than your work experience and college, were you involved with anything? So most applications will ask you, were you part of any youth body when you were studying? Were you part of, any club? Were you a member? Did you contribute anything else, etc.? So if you have done something, mention that. And I always promote, this I teach even to students at Wellington. I tell them there's a profile A and a profile B. Both are your profiles. Profile A is facts. Profile B is you should write down how did that fact help you develop? Okay. So if you actually write down that, which is, let's say, you went and you were part of a Rotaract club or a Rotary club or a Lions club or something, and you undertook a clean the city campaign or something that you did. Okay. I would write down also, what did it teach me? What did I learn from this? So, and look at what are you applying for? Okay, you're applying for a management course or a business and management program. So look at it from that lens. Okay, you are part of a, clean the city campaign. So you'd say, I realize the worth and value of cleanliness. That's okay. That's a personal learning. But don't you think it's a very difficult task to, clean things once, but maintaining it and having a mechanism and getting support of people to do this consistently? You see, that is a learning for me. And I wonder how, how the PMC then functions. And it made me realize the value of how organizations are able to do things where you don't have direct control on how people behave. So you can say, listen, you've launched a product. So somebody, if they ask you, if I launched a product, if I want people to do this, you can then apply it in that context. So try to always look at, one, personal learning. Two, how does it make sense to the learning from business and management perspective? If you can say that, then you will really have a nice, I would think your mind will start then working in that direction. Look at everything in your profile and say, how has it helped me personally and professionally?